Smile and say you are fine. Everyone expects you to, but deep down you know the truth. Nobody really cares about how you are feeling. They want to see the mask, the performance, the smile that hides the mess inside. You stand there pretending while the storm rages within you. Why? Because that is what the world demands. The world does not care if you are broken, hurting, or lost. It only cares about what you can show, what you can perform. So, what happens when you stop pretending? What happens when you stop lying to yourself and to everyone else? Let me tell you something. Nothing will change. The world will not suddenly care more. People will not gather around to heal your wounds. In fact, they will look at you and expect you to keep that smile on your face. But what if you refuse? What if you drop the act and show them who you truly are? Would they still be able to respect you? Or would they turn their backs, thinking you are just another broken soul? Here is the thing you need to realize. The world does not care about your struggles. No one will come to rescue you. They will not listen to your pain unless you are useful to them. So why are you letting their expectations control you? Why are you still playing by their rules when those rules only keep you in chains? It is time to stop pretending. It is time to stop caring about how they see you. The question is not about whether they care about you. The real question is, do you care enough about yourself to stop pretending? Let me break it down for you. You are drowning in your own emotions, your own fears, your own thoughts. You might not see it now because you have become so accustomed to the weight on your shoulders. You wake up every day putting on the same mask, the same fake smile, pretending that everything is fine. But inside, there is a battle you are losing. You are letting your emotions control you. You let your anger decide how you react. You let your sadness determine how you feel. You let your fears control your actions, and in doing so, you have become a prisoner to your own mind. You think you are free, but freedom is a lie. You are controlled by the very emotions you think you can manage. Your anger clouds your judgment, turning your every action into a reaction, a snap decision driven by a burning desire to lash out. You tell yourself it is justified, that they deserve it. But deep down, you know it is not the anger that speaks, it is your weakness. You are afraid of being ignored, of being overlooked, and so you act out in the hope that someone will notice you. You think your anger will make them listen, but it only drives people away. They do not fear your anger. They see it as weakness, as a sign that you are out of control. Then there is the sadness, the constant weight that drags you down. You wake up with it and you go to sleep with it. It haunts you, but you do not know how to make it go away. You tell yourself it will pass, that time will heal, but the truth is, time does not heal anything. It only hides the wounds beneath the surface, leaving them to fester, to rot, until one day they overwhelm you. You try to push it away, to mask it with distractions, but it always comes back, creeping up when you least expect it. And when it does, it consumes you. You fall into the trap of self-pity, thinking that no one understands, that no one cares. But that is not the truth. The truth is that you are letting your sadness control you. You are allowing it to keep you trapped in a state of hopelessness, making you feel like there is no way out. But the worst of all is fear. Fear is the silent killer, the one that paralyzes you. It does not scream, it whispers, creeping into your thoughts, poisoning your mind. It tells you that you are not good enough, that you will fail, that you will never be able to achieve anything. Fear tells you that the world will eat you alive, that you do not stand a chance, and you listen to it. You listen to the voices in your head telling you to stay in your shell, to hide, to avoid the challenge. You fear the unknown, the uncertainty of stepping outside of your comfort zone. And so you stay stuck in your little world, afraid to take risks, afraid to fail. Fear becomes your shield, and your shield becomes your prison. These emotions, anger, sadness, fear, are not your friends. They are the chains that bind you. They keep you trapped in a cycle of destruction, a cycle that only gets worse the longer you allow them to control you. And yet, you are so familiar with them that you have come to believe they are a part of you. You have convinced yourself that they are normal, that they are what make you human. But they do not make you human. They make you weak, they make you predictable, and they make you a prisoner in your own life. You are letting these emotions drag you down. You are allowing them to decide who you are, what you can do, how you will live. You think you are strong, but in reality you are nothing more than a puppet being controlled by strings of your own making. You have the power to cut those strings, to free yourself, but you are too afraid to do it. You fear what lies on the other side. You fear what it would mean to take control, to be in charge of your own life. It is easier to stay in the comfort of your chains, even if those chains are hurting you. But do you really want to continue like this? Do you really want to keep allowing your emotions to dictate your fate? It is time to face the truth. Your emotions are not a part of you, they are obstacles. They are not tools for growth, they are weapons you have turned against yourself. And until you realize that, until you take responsibility for your own life, you will remain trapped. But it does not have to be this way. You can break free. You can take control. But first, you must acknowledge that you are not as strong as you think. You are not invincible. You are human, and like all humans, you have weaknesses. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not strength, but the ability to control what lies within. And right now, you are letting what lies within control you. Let me ask you something, because it is time someone did. Do you truly believe that your emotions are an excuse? Do you really think that your anger, your sadness, or your fear are valid reasons to stay stuck, to remain powerless? You think that these feelings give you a pass, that they somehow make you special, that they make your struggles more real than anyone else's. But let me tell you something. There is nothing special about being weak. There is nothing extraordinary about letting your emotions control you. It is a lie you tell yourself to justify your inaction, to mask the truth that you are afraid of change. You sit there feeling sorry for yourself, telling yourself that the world is against you, that life is unfair. You let that sadness define you, let it seep into every aspect of your being. But what has it truly done for you? Has it made you stronger? Has it made you more capable? Or has it simply dragged you deeper into a hole, made you a prisoner to your own self-pity? And do you think that anyone will come to save you from it? Do you believe that the world will suddenly stop and take notice of your pain? It will not. The world does not care. People do not care. They only care about what you can do for them, about what you can give them. Your sadness does not impress them. It does not inspire them. It only makes them uncomfortable. They do not want to see your pain because they are too busy dealing with their own. Now let us talk about your anger. What has it really done for you? Has it brought you peace? Has it made you feel better, made you feel more in control? No, it has only fueled a fire that consumes you, turning your every action into a reaction, your every word into a weapon. You lash out because it feels good in the moment, because it gives you a false sense of power. But that power is fleeting, and it is empty. You have been led to believe that anger is a strength, that it is a way to protect yourself, to fight back against the world. But all it does is make you predictable. All it does is make you weak. Anger blinds you to the bigger picture. It prevents you from seeing the truth, from understanding that control is not in the outburst, but in the restraint. So why do you keep holding on to it? Why do you keep letting it rule you? And let us not forget about fear. Fear, the one that keeps you up at night, the one that holds you back from reaching your potential. You cower in the face of fear. You let it decide your every move, your every choice. You let it convince you that you are not good enough, that you will fail before you even try. But fear is a lie. It is nothing more than a shadow, a figment of your imagination. It tells you that you are not ready, that you are not strong enough, that you are not worthy. But you have been told this lie your entire life. And what has it done for you? Has it kept you safe? Has it protected you? No. It has only kept you stagnant, kept you in your comfort zone, and prevented you from stepping into the unknown. Fear is not your ally. It is your enemy, and it is time to stop listening to it. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, but I am only human. I cannot control everything. My emotions are just part of who I am. And that is the problem. You have convinced yourself that your emotions define you, that they are your identity. You have let them become your excuse for inaction. You have used them as a shield, a barrier to protect you from facing the truth that you are afraid to take control, that you are afraid to step up and take responsibility for your own life. But I am not here to make you feel better. I am not here to tell you that everything will be fine, that you just need to wait for things to improve. I am here to challenge you. I am here to ask you the hard questions that no one else will. Why do you keep holding on to your pain? Why do you keep feeding your anger? Why do you let fear hold you back from becoming who you could be? You have a choice right now, in this very moment. You can choose to stay where you are, to keep letting your emotions control you, or you can choose to take responsibility for your life, to stop being a victim of your own mind. You are not special because you are sad, angry, or afraid. You are not unique because you are struggling. Everyone struggles. Everyone has pain. Everyone faces fear, but not everyone lets it control them. Not everyone lets it define them. So ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep making excuses, keep hiding behind your emotions? Or are you going to face the truth, take control, and step into your power? The choice is yours, and it is time you stop pretending that your emotions are the reason you cannot succeed. The real reason is fear. Fear of change, fear of discomfort, fear of facing the truth. And it is time to let go of that fear, because until you do, you will remain stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, and wondering why nothing ever changes. Let me tell you something you probably do not want to hear. Your emotions are not your enemies. They never were. But they are not your saviors either. They are not the source of your strength, nor the reason for your downfall. The problem is not that you feel anger, sadness, or fear. The problem is that you let those feelings control you. The solution is not to eliminate your emotions or pretend they do not exist. That would be a lie. The solution lies in something far more powerful. The solution is control. True power is not in what you feel, but in what you choose to do with what you feel. You see, the first step in mastering your emotions is understanding them. You cannot conquer what you do not understand. Anger. It is just energy. It is raw, unfiltered, and powerful. But it is not a tool. Not until you learn to channel it, to focus it. You feel it rising in your chest, you feel the heat in your veins, and what do you do with it? You lash out. You scream. You break. But that is not control. That is chaos. Real power comes from taking that raw energy, harnessing it, and using it with purpose. Imagine your anger becoming a weapon that sharpens your focus, that drives you toward your goals with a clear mind, rather than clouding your judgment. That is mastery. That is control. Sadness. Sadness is not weakness. It is a sign. It is a signal that something is wrong, that something needs to change. It is not a state to wallow in. It is a call to action. The problem comes when you let sadness consume you. You sink deeper into it, telling yourself that there is no way out. But what if, instead of letting sadness drag you down, you used it as fuel? What if you let the sadness remind you of what you truly want, what you are truly capable of? Instead of sitting in despair, you could take that sadness and transform it into resilience. You could take the weight of it and turn it into strength. That is the power of emotional control. You are not meant to live under the shadow of your emotions. You are meant to make them work for you, to turn them into tools that propel you forward. And fear, that ever-present, silent killer. Fear is the one that keeps you from taking risks, from stepping outside of your comfort zone. Fear tells you that you cannot, that you will fail, that you are not enough. But fear is nothing but a story you tell yourself. A story that keeps you trapped, keeps you small. But what if you took that fear and turned it into your guide instead of your enemy? What if every time fear crept into your thoughts, you used it as a signal that you were on the verge of something great? That fear, when understood, becomes your greatest ally. It shows you where you are vulnerable, where you need to grow. It pushes you to take action, to step into the unknown. Fear is only powerful if you allow it to control you. But if you control it, it becomes a tool for growth, a force that drives you forward, pushing you past your limits. Now I know what you are thinking. It sounds simple. Control your emotions. But it is not easy. Nothing worthwhile is easy. Control requires discipline. Control requires effort. It requires you to face your darkest moments, to confront the chaos inside of you and say, I am in charge here. But it is not impossible. It starts with awareness. It starts with recognizing when you are being controlled by your emotions, when your anger, sadness, or fear is dictating your actions. From that moment, you have a choice. You can let it control you, or you can take control of it. The path to mastery begins with small steps. The next time you feel anger rising, take a moment to breathe. Close your eyes and focus on that feeling. Instead of reacting, ask yourself why you are angry. What is it that is truly making you feel this way? What is beneath the surface? When you understand it, you can make a choice. You can decide to respond rather than react. You can decide to turn that anger into something constructive, something powerful. You can choose to act with intention, not out of impulse. The next time sadness takes over, instead of sinking into it, ask yourself, what does this sadness teach me? What is it telling me about my life, about my choices? Instead of hiding from it, embrace it. Let it show you what needs to change, what needs to be fixed. Use it to fuel your determination to rise above, to transform your pain into purpose. When fear arises, do not let it paralyze you. Use it as a sign that you are about to step into something new, something challenging. Fear only has power when you give it power. Use fear to sharpen your focus, to push you toward action, to make you realize that the thing you fear the most is often the thing that will make you grow the most. Step into it. Embrace it. Take the action that scares you. Control is not about suppressing your emotions. It is about understanding them and using them as stepping stones. It is about refusing to let them define you, refusing to let them dictate your choices. It is about taking the raw materials of your emotional state and forging them into something stronger, something better. The solution is simple. It is not about avoiding your emotions, pretending they do not exist, or running from them. The solution is in mastering them. You take your emotions, you understand them, and you control them. You make them work for you. When you do that, there is nothing that can stand in your way. You will no longer be a slave to your feelings. You will become the master of your own mind, your own actions. And once you master yourself, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in front of a mirror. It is not a regular mirror now. This one is special. This mirror does not reflect who you are today, but who you could become if you took control of your emotions, if you stopped letting fear, anger, and sadness dictate your every move. What do you see in that reflection? Do you see strength? Do you see someone who is in charge, someone who holds power over their own destiny? Or do you still see someone who is trapped by their emotions, someone who is controlled by the chaos inside? Now, take a deeper look. What if you could take every ounce of anger, every drop of sadness, every shadow of fear, and use them to fuel your growth? What if you could turn that pain, that vulnerability, into something more powerful than you have ever imagined? What if you could become someone who stands above the chaos, someone who is not afraid of the darkness inside, but instead uses it to rise above? That person, the one in that mirror, that is the person you can become. That is your true potential, waiting to be unlocked. Here is the truth. You already have the power within you. You have always had it. It is not something that you need to go out and find. It is not something that will magically appear. It is already inside, buried beneath the layers of self-doubt, fear, and weakness that you have allowed to build up over time. And that power is waiting to be released, waiting for you to stop making excuses, to stop hiding behind your emotions, and to start taking control. The moment you realize that you are in control of your emotions, that you are the one who chooses how to respond to the world around you, that is the moment you unlock your true power. Let me make one thing clear. This is not about being perfect. It is not about being free from anger, sadness, or fear. These emotions will always be a part of you. But what matters is how you choose to handle them. When you learn to control your emotions, to turn them into fuel rather than letting them burn you from within, you become unstoppable. You become someone who no longer reacts out of impulse, someone who makes deliberate, thoughtful choices. You become someone who takes responsibility for their own actions, someone who is not at the mercy of their feelings, but instead uses them to drive forward. When you master your emotions, you do not just survive, you thrive. You rise above the noise, above the chaos, and you create your own path. You stop living in the shadows of doubt and fear. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to be great. You realize that greatness comes from within, and that it is something that you have the power to create. The world will try to pull you down, to keep you in a state of weakness, to keep you in the cycle of self-doubt and fear. But when you take control, when you own your emotions and use them as tools, you step outside of that cycle. You no longer let the world dictate your mood, your actions, or your future. You control the narrative. You are the author of your own story. Now think about it. How many times have you let fear stop you from taking action? How many opportunities have you missed because you were too afraid to fail, too afraid of what others might think? How many times have you let anger cloud your judgment, only to regret your words and actions later? How many times has sadness left you feeling powerless, convinced that things would never change? Now, imagine what would happen if you stopped letting those emotions control you. Imagine what would happen if you took every ounce of fear and used it to propel you toward your goals, every bit of anger and used it to fuel your drive, every moment of sadness and used it to build resilience. Imagine how different your life would be if you turned those weaknesses into strengths. When you learn to master your emotions, you unlock a level of empowerment that most people never experience. You become someone who is not at the mercy of the world around you. You become someone who is in control, who is not afraid to take risks, who is not afraid to face the unknown. You become someone who sees challenges as opportunities, someone who rises above adversity rather than succumbing to it. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start becoming the driver. You see, the world does not fear weakness. It does not fear people who are controlled by their emotions. It fears people who take control, people who understand that their emotions are not obstacles but tools. It fears those who rise above, who are not easily shaken, who can turn any setback into an opportunity to grow. That is the power you have inside of you. That is the person you are capable of becoming. But you must choose it. You must decide that enough is enough, that you will no longer let your emotions control you. You must decide that you are going to take charge of your life, of your future, of your destiny. So, stand tall, take control, master your emotions, and let them work for you. When you do that, there is nothing that can stand in your way. You will become the person you were always meant to be, the one in control, the one who takes charge, the one who rises above. And when you do, you will look in that mirror and see someone who is truly powerful, someone who is unstoppable, someone who has taken control of their emotions, their life, and their future. And that is when you will truly begin to rise. Now, you are standing at a crossroads. You have listened to the truth. You have heard the reality of your emotions, the power they can wield, and the mastery you can achieve. But here is the question that only you can answer. Will you take the step into the unknown, into the darkness where true power lies, or will you remain in the comfort of your weakness, letting life pass you by? The world does not wait for anyone. It does not pause to accommodate those who are not ready. It will grind you down, push you into corners, and attempt to break you. But there is one thing the world cannot take from you, one thing that no amount of chaos, no amount of fear, no amount of anger or sadness can strip away: your control. When you seize control over your emotions, when you master them and turn them into your weapons, nothing can stand in your way. You become a force that nothing can stop. And the world? The world will bend to your will, not the other way around. You know the power inside of you. It has always been there. It has been buried beneath the lies you tell yourself, beneath the fears you hide from, beneath the sadness you drown in. But now you know the truth. You are the one who holds the key. You are the one who has the strength to unlock the door to your potential. Do not let that potential go to waste. Do not let your emotions continue to control you. You are the master, not the servant. Take control of your anger, your sadness, and your fear. Mold them, shape them, and use them to drive you forward. Every time you feel the rush of anger, channel it into purpose. Every time sadness threatens to drown you, turn it into the fuel that ignites your ambition. Every time fear tries to paralyze you, use it as the spark that pushes you to take the leap. Do this, and you will become unstoppable. You will no longer be at the mercy of your emotions. You will become the one who bends the world to your will, the one who shapes your future, the one who moves forward, no matter what stands in the way. The time for excuses is over. The time for waiting is over. Your moment is now. The world will not wait for you to be ready. The time to act is now. So, what will it be? Will you step into the darkness and claim your power, or will you remain where you are, bound by your own weaknesses, stuck in the cycle of fear and self-doubt? Remember, power is not given, it is taken, it is earned, and it starts with you. You have everything you need inside of you to rise. You have the strength to control your emotions, to bend them to your will, to turn them into tools of greatness. The question is, will you take that power? Will you step into the role of the one who controls, the one who is unstoppable? Will you rise? If you want it, it is yours for the taking. All it takes is the decision to step forward. All it takes is the courage to embrace your emotions, to master them, and to use them as your fuel. So, stand tall, take a deep breath, and step into your future with the certainty that nothing and no one can stop you. The world bows to those who pull the strings, so go ahead, take control, and let them watch as you rise. Let them watch as you become the force they never saw coming.